I'm worried about the triggers. When the people talk, some of these girls, when they talk, it sets me off like I see red, and I'm going to try to hold it together. So hard.
All right. Well, Danielle, I am loving the season. I am loving you on the season. It is so much fun. And I know that this is a big episode because we get to see bougie kids.
Yes. Yes. It's a nice episode. Thank you, Jesus. It's a good one. I'm excited for it. It was a great day. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, what inspired this line for you?
Dressing my own kids.
Yeah.
So I hated my job that I was working at the time. I was doing like event planning in Manhattan, and I hated it. And I was like, what do I love to do? I love to dress my kids over the top. And it just snowballed. Like I started a Pinterest board called My New Life. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of took off from there. I taught myself everything on how to run an e-commerce site.
I love it. Well, your daughter is impeccably dressed, and so is your son. Adorable, but impeccably dressed. I absolutely love it. How nice of it was Melissa to kind of give you a hand in the beginning and kind of, open up her store to you as well.
So nice. We had such a great day in the city that when I went shopping with her for Envy, it was just nice. We had great conversations about business, and then she thought of the idea to do a pop-up for bougie kids, and it just made sense. It felt right. We're two business owners, small business owners, and it was such a fun day. Mm-hmm. We had a great day at Envy, and it was nice.
I love it. I love it. So how has life changed for you over the past few months?
Well, we're a lot busier with like other things going on. But besides like that out there, in here is still the same. Like you're on my laundry basket. My kids have no clue about what's going on, except maybe the occasional kid will say, oh, my mommy watches your mommy. Yeah. And going to the grocery store is not the same anymore, unfortunately. I have to go out, you have to look presentable now at all times. Right. God forbid that's the most challenging thing. When I'm in sweats and I need milk, I'm like, Nate, can you just go, I look terrible.
I love that so much. Has anything changed in your marriage at all? Do you feel like doing this show, has it brought you guys closer together at all? Because sometimes, this can have a negative effect on relationships. And did you guys talk about that going into this at all?
It can have a negative effect. May and I have this insane bond. We actually really like each other. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, I love my husband. Marriage is tough. We don't say that. Mm-hmm. We genuinely love to be around each other. So now when we get opportunities to do things together where we could travel or maybe, I don't think, appearances, that's mm-hmm. a thing now. Now we do appearances. It's fun for us because we just want to be around each other. Mm-hmm. And nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. He's still my rock. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do about this? This person said this. And we communicate, and it's been the same. Nothing really has changed.
Good. What's been the toughest part for you doing the show or even watching the show back?
The toughest part was filming the show. Mm-hmm. That was the toughest part for me. Those 4 months of filming was really tough. Watching it back now, my friends and family get to see what I was talking about when I would come home, completely distraught or something would happen. They could see what I meant. Mm-hmm. And two, it's been really nice to watch the season back and say, oh, that's exactly how I envisioned it in my head when it happened to me. Because, sometimes you go through things and you're like, oh, wait, that's different than what I thought. Mm-hmm. But it's been, I wouldn't say rewarding. Rewarding is not the right word I'm looking for here. But reassuring mm-hmm. That what I went through was what actually happened.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously there was a lot of talk about your family and about your brother. I mean, why do you think it was so difficult for the women to believe your story about what happened between you and your brother?
Do you believe the story that what happened between me and my brother?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. You do? I mean, if that's what you say, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, just over Instagram. But, if that's your story, that's your story.
And that was the biggest thing, right? It doesn't make any sense. But here I am saying it doesn't make any sense. And it wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. I think these women come from a world where they have to just believe that there's negativity and like some hidden agenda towards everything. And really, I'm just as confused as everybody else. And not only am I confused, but I'm the one that's actually devastated over it and hurt over it. So there's actual feelings that go along with my confusion. And that was the biggest battle. Was like, I thought we were all cool and friends. Like, whoa, what are you trying to make me out to be a bad person here when I just kind of wanted a shoulder to cry on.
Do you regret bringing it up at all?
No, I don't. Because it made me connect on a different level with Melissa and with Teresa, and not in a bad way either. Like I really did not come at Melissa like it's the sister-in-law. You know, I didn't do that with her. I respected what she said back to me and her feelings. As much as I'm very close with Teresa, I respected both of their stories because there are two sides to the story. You can call my brother up right now and he could tell you something completely different than what I'm saying, but it doesn't mean his truth is any less important than mine.
Right.
No?
Has anything changed with your brother since the show aired? Or the two of you spoken at all?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
No. And since we filmed the show, it's almost been about a year.
Wow.
And he's had a daughter in that year. So that's been tough. Things like, you don't, when you watch something on television, you don't associate the person and the emotions behind it. But like, I didn't see my niece in her Easter dress. Like, these are the things that I live with every single day. It's a real thing for me. And it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Are you hopeful that maybe things will change?
I'm always hopeful. You always want to hope for that. But in the same sense, it's like you hold out hope, it breaks your heart even more. So, I mean, unfortunately, it's on a television show that we have to see it every single freaking week. But at some point, you just have to like not let it consume your everyday. Holidays are big triggers for me. They are. Like this past holiday, I come from a very big Italian family. I mean, big.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist anymore. So it's very difficult.
Yeah. Were you hoping that maybe he would watch the show and see how you were coping with everything, and maybe that would kind of open the doors to communication?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Or somebody that is friends with him and friends with us, connect and say, listen, your brother watches the show and you might have your differences, but he respects that, I didn't really go on and bash my brother and his wife. I didn't do that. And I didn't get any of that. So I don't know what he thinks. I don't think he's happy. There was a comment on the show I made about if my son was to get married again. And, it wasn't necessarily towards my sister-in-law. Kind of looked like it was, but it was really towards my son's future wife.
Yeah.
Right. And that kind of took on a life of its own. And I'm sure that didn't make him happy.
Yeah. Well, I hope things change for you. I do.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And of course there's some drama with the ladies as well. You and Rachel kind of go at it. I mean, now that some time has passed, do you still think that she's a rat?
So, I get asked this question on the show a lot too. Okay. I mean, the definition of a rat really is someone that goes back and says things, right? So that's what she does. So and rat's a very bad word where I come from too, Christina. It's not the nicest thing. It's actually worse than any curse word in the world. So, she said, all right, here's my thing. Here's what the problem was. She went back and said things in a way that I did not say them. So maybe that's not necessarily a rat. Maybe that's a troublemaker in a way. If she would have went back and told Margaret, oh my God, me and Danielle were talking and okay. But she went back and made me look like the bad guy to Margaret when we were just, coffee talking together. And that's what I had the problem with. Not that she went back and told Margaret everything that I said, really. It's that she spun it and made me look like the bad guy.
Yeah. It seems like
that's why I got.
Yeah, no, it seems like Margaret, obviously maybe stirs the pot a little bit about this season. How do you feel about her? And when I was watching this episode, it seems like when her friend Laura was brought up at the table while you guys were in Ireland, she looked a little nervous about what could be said.
Yeah, and at that time, I didn't know how close they were.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that Laura and her were like childhood friends. Mm-hmm. So I was sympathizing in a way with Margaret when she said that this woman is thirsty. She's coming for me. She's coming for me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You're in this world. A lot of people are going to come for you. But then I found out they were friends. Mm-hmm. Like that girl knows some things, right? And that changes everything. Mm-hmm. She's not just some friend she met at a red carpet event a year ago. She's her friend for a long time. Mm-hmm. And at that point, from what you saw, I didn't know any major bomb. I didn't really know anything big that this woman was saying about her. I was asking about it. Mm-hmm. But you'll notice when people don't want to talk about certain things, they do the bob and weave. The bob and weave, they deflect. And you try to talk about conversation A, but they deflect to conversation B. Mm-hmm. And you're like, wait, huh? Kind of what happens a lot now.
So when you first heard this rumor that Melissa cheated on Joe, I mean, we see your reaction. You're kind of like, oh my God. But why don't you think Margaret came forward with this rumor beforehand?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We don't know here. She likes to come with everybody. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know why she didn't say it to Melissa. Maybe they did talk about it privately. Mm-hmm. Maybe she did ask her privately. I don't know. That existed in a world before me. Mm-hmm. And, I legitimately came into this season in this season. Right. I knew nothing past it. So I don't know why that wasn't discussed or brought up.
Do you believe it?
No, I don't. Mm-hmm. No. I don't want to believe it. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to destroy anybody's marriage. I don't want to believe it. The context of what was said, though, in my head, I believe Margaret did say this to her friend. Mm. So those are two different things. I don't want to believe that Melissa and Joe have any issues, but I do believe this girl, Laura, I mean, she's coming out and saying dates, times, not pictures. I mean, if it was pictures, wouldn't
right? That movie, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but she's saying some really detailed things that why would she say these detailed things? Mm-hmm. I don't think somebody would want to be on a television show that bad that she would make up crazy rumors. Actually, I take that back. Maybe they're wrong.
Maybe. Does this cause a rift between Melissa and Margaret? Because the two of them, have a pretty strong friendship.
No.
Interesting.
No. Yeah, interesting. Mm-hmm. Interesting with a exclamation point. It's very interesting why that. And wait till you see how it all kind of plays out too, because you're going to have a lot of questions and scratching your head like, what? That's a mystery to this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where do you stand on Pizzagate?
I don't know much detail about Pizzagate. I learned about Pizzagate at the after show because I left the steak party a little early, mm-hmm. and I didn't know the full details. But it's like, get on the phone and talk to each other about the pizza situation here. It all started out nice. If you had a problem, don't we know about negotiations? Negotiations take place. I give somebody my rate. If they want it, great, but they'll negotiate with me. So maybe that should have happened.
Right. I mean, it seems like maybe just don't mix business and family, probably.
You really shouldn't ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
not that family.
No, not that family.
All the families. Come on.
I mean, I think Melissa said in an interview recently that she would like to be in the same room as Teresa. Teresa says that chapter is closed. I mean, do you foresee them ever having some sort of relationship ever again?
According to Teresa, no, absolutely not. I mean, it's very clear that it's not. maybe there's something with the kids that they can all be together. Because I saw a video on the Tickety Tack, I think it was, with Melania and Antonia, and I'm like, damn, man, this is who hurts from it.
Yeah.
So maybe somewhere down the line they can be in the same room, but as of right now, I don't think it's on Teresa's radar.
Yeah. Was it so uncomfortable and awkward when after Teresa asked Dolores and Jennifer to be in the wedding, and then you're like in the same room as Melissa on the trip in Ireland? Was that ever uncomfortable?
Here's the thing. When that happens, you just gotta love her. You gotta love her. She had how somebody can just, I guess I'm not Melissa, right? So I don't know what she goes through, but how you cannot laugh at things like that and just say, you know what, Teresa, do you, girl. And I mean, I was waiting. I thought mine was coming around the corner. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm going to be a bridesmaid too. It's happening. It never did. But you got to take Teresa for what she is. And she's just she just goes off the top of her head, and there's no harm in it. There's no viciousness.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the upcoming reunion?
It is so odd, Christina. I am extremely calm. I am like, I'm not thinking about it too much. And everybody's like, you're ready. You're okay. I'm like, okay, let's do it. I mean, from what I went through filming, this is going to be a cakewalk for me. I hope. I hear that. Dolores told me no. She's like, honestly, it's the worst out of everything you filmed times a million. Like, okay.
What are you hoping to settle when you get there? Are you coming with like receipts and things like that? Or are you just going to show up?
What's been the easiest thing for me since the day the cameras rolled was being myself. And that's exactly what I'm bringing into the reunion. Bringing myself, whether that be emotion and unresolved issues with people. I don't have anything to hide. I can speak on how they made me feel. I don't need receipts on that. I experienced it. So there's a lot to be said for a lot of us. Not just me. There's a lot.
Definitely.
I'm worried about the triggers. I'm worried about the triggers. When the people talk, some of these girls, when they talk, it sets me off. Like I see red, and I'm going to try to hold it together so hard.
I know Dolores has been working hard for her reunion body. She recently admitted that she takes Ozempic to lose weight. What was your reaction to that? Would you ever do something like that?
So I work out. I do CrossFit every single day, 5:30 in the morning. I'm the only schmuck in the world that actually works out these days, I guess. I don't know. But Dolores, I think she said something in that moment that she was like, afterwards, she's like, oh, the joke landed flat a little bit. And I spoke to her about it, and she actually has the health issues that come along with taking it. So unfortunately, that story didn't make it. That story didn't get told. It was the weight loss one. People sometimes they say things to try to get a laugh, and it maybe falls a little flat.
Yeah. What do you think of Margaret recently revealed that she lost 22 pounds. What do you think of her body transformation as well?
I think she looks great. I mean, when I was filming with the girls with Teresa and Jen, Teresa would always say to me, educate yourself, Danielle, on the series. I'm like, do I have to? She's like, yes. And I went back a few seasons and I would take pictures. It was Margaret. I didn't know it was her. I said, who is this woman? And they're like, it's Margaret. I'm like, wow, she looks good. Good for her. She looks good.
And then what can you tease? It is. What can you tease about the finale? I think you said in a recent interview that this is definitely going to be a tough finale for you. And I know everything kind of comes to a head at this big party at Paul's house. So what can you kind of tease about the big finale?
So you ever want to be a fly on the wall and watch how a situation goes down? And you're like, how did it happen?
Yes.
You're going to see that. That's exactly what you're going to see. And how I went into it thinking one thing was going to happen is not what happened at all. And what and obviously we know, Joe and Melissa didn't go to the wedding. You'll get to see how that all plays out. And it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. Yeah. And I mean, I've been to roles, and I never experienced anything like that before in my life. I was like, oh God, what happened? It was intense. And it's so unfortunate. It was a beautiful party. They had a horse and buggy outside. There was girls clanking on a floor, dancers. And we all looked so nice. It was such a sin.
It was such a sin. Well, I'm sure it's going to make for some great television, though. Danielle, thank you so much. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out, and I'm so enjoying watching you on the show. You're so great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's good seeing you. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below, and visit usmagazine.com.